Hey everybody, welcome to the 81st edition of Drive Thru Review. Today I'm going to talk about Condottiere. I think that's how you say it. It's a game that's currently being printed by Fantasy Flight. Plays 2 to 6 players. It plays pretty quickly. You can't have games that end really fast, and then some that don't really drag on, but they take longer than a quicker game or a medium length game. It doesn't ever really drag on forever though. This game's been around for a while. I don't remember when it was first published. I want to say, I don't know, a while ago. It was a long time ago. It's by a guy named Dominic Earhart, and he's done quite a few other games. None really like this one though. So it's sort of Renaissance time. You're sort of trying to take control of Italy, and there's some sort of backroom politics kind of things with armies and then different cards. Basically, it's a card game. It's not really a card game though. It's sort of a Ameritrash filler. So I played this mostly with my lunch group, and it's pretty fun. It's kind of random, but it sort of hits that nice even keel between just kind of good old trashy fun versus some little sort of tactical choices you can make. So let me show you how it works, and I'll come back. Okay, not much comes with this game. It comes in one of these little old boxes. I think this was the Silverline series. Very tiny box, so there's a little bit of work you got to do to get everything back in the box, but it fits fine. You just have to tuck some stuff underneath the insert there. Otherwise, it comes with a bunch of cubes and different player colors. Each player will take a color of their choice, a giant stack of cards, and then the Condottiere token. And this will be placed in one of these areas on the map, and that's where sort of the battle will take place for that round. And then there's a Pope token, which through the effect of some cards, you can put that somewhere, let's say here, and then you can't ever move this guy to where the Pope is. So if you look at the board, it's actually quite small. Here's the box, and it just kind of barely fits back into there. And I believe the word most appropriate used by my game group was that the board was adorable. So quite small board. So the meat of the game is just through playing these cards here, and there's just a whole ton of cards. Quite a few different ones, but basically on your turn what you're going to do is, let's say I was the first player of the game, I'm going to go pick an area to control or to try to control, and then have a battle, and then we're going to take turns playing a card. Everybody's going to play a card or pass. If you pass, then you're no longer in it to win it for that particular area. You're going to go around and around, you're going to decide who's the winner, and let's say blue wins. He's going to take control of that, and then he will maybe try to place it to an adjacent area and try to control this area. So let's say red wins this, and then as these areas fill up on the map, then you're going to have a winner if one of the following conditions is met. And that depends on the number of players. So in a 2 or 3 player game, the winner is going to be the first one basically to get all 6 of their cubes out in any configuration on the board. So if blue gets all of his cubes out, then he's the winner. Or if he gets 4 adjacent regions, so any adjacencies are across any border. So if I just had those 4, I've got them all adjacent to each other, and then he would win. Now in a 4, 5, or 6 player game, then it's only 5 cubes or 3 adjacent regions, and then that person becomes the winner of the game. So let's talk about the different cards in the game. So let's say we just got 2 players involved here. We're trying to get this territory here. Firen's in the middle, and you got a yellow player and a red player. Well, if the round were to end in this case, then the yellow player is going to win because he has the higher value of mercenary cards. And these are going to be most of the cards in the deck. Different values of mercenary cards. So it's 10 to 3, yellow wins. Yellow would go and place his cube there, and that would be it. Now normally, since yellow were to win this area, he'd place it, and then he'd get to move this Condottiere token to probably an adjacent area, wherever he wanted to move it. However, we have these courtesan cards. And you can see these have a red number. They'll add 1 to your total value, but at the end of the round, whoever has the most of these will then get to place wherever this goes. So if the red player here had this, then he would lose, but then he'd get a chance to place, somewhere else. So let's say he had this territory here, he'd want to move it down here for the next round. There's one other type of card here with the red number, and these are the Heroines here, and these are worth 10. Now, for the most part, these are equal. These don't really have any special power here, but these 2 red cards here are not affected by some of the other cards, some of the event cards and special cards. Mostly those are just going to affect only the mercenary cards here. Now one example of that, let's take these red cards away. We've got a winter card. So if the red player here had played winter, what winter does is it makes all of the mercenary cards basically equal 1. So in this case, he's not 10, he's only 1. And he's got 1, 2. And so he'd actually win in this case 2-1 if he played winter. Now the opposite of winter is spring. So if the old player here instead played spring, what spring is going to do, it's going to discard all the winter cards. And it's vice versa. So if you play winter, it'll discard all spring cards in play. So if he plays this, this gets discarded. And then the effect of winter is all of the mercenaries that are of the highest in play will actually get +3. So his 10 will get a +3. Now if anybody else had a 10, in this case of red, he would also get +3 because it's all of the highest cards no matter who owns them. Now we've got the bishop card. So if red had played the bishop, what's going to happen there is he's going to get to place the pope. And he'll place it there, let's say. And the other effect of the bishop is all of the highest cards that are in play, in this case the 10. Anybody that's got a 10 is going to have to lose that 10. So this can really change things quite a bit. Now let's put this 10 back. So let's say we play this card here. This is the drummer card. What he's going to do is double the value of all the mercenary cards for whoever has played it. So in this case we've got 4, 6 because he's played the drum. And next we've got the Scarecrow card. And what he can do is he'll let you, so if I played that, I figured I don't want to get in this fight anymore. I'll play the Scarecrow card and I can pick up any one of my mercenary cards. Only your mercenary cards, remember, are affected by any of these other cards. So I could play that. If I didn't feel like winning in this battle, I'd play that, take this 10 back into my hand. And the last card is the surrender card. So when you play this, the round immediately ends. Normally everybody has to pass and then you just decide whoever has the highest total and they win. So you could theoretically play on your turn, for your first turn, play a 10, everything goes around, nobody else has beat you, you play the surrender and that's it. So you immediately resolve the end of the battle and that's it. So these, so I think there's only like 4 or 5 of these in the whole deck. So you gotta watch out for these. You gotta keep this in mind. You don't want to commit too far into a battle and then have somebody jack you with a surrender card. So that's all the cards, and that's pretty much the game. You're just gonna be moving this guy around and then trying to capture territories and etc. and try to build some adjacent ones and then keep going around until you meet the win condition. Now the cool thing is that I don't have to play any cards this turn. So if I don't feel like I have good cards or I want to kind of reserve them, I don't like where this guy's at, it's not really going to influence me that much, I can just pass. And once you pass, you're out for that round. So then everybody else that maybe wants to fight over that territory, they can. Now you're going to keep playing and playing and playing until one or no people have cards in their hand. So everybody gets dealt 10 cards at the beginning of the round, and then if it goes around and around and around, and I held on to these cards too long, and I'm stuck in, let's say I've got 8 cards in my hand, I haven't really participated in any battles, everybody else has used all their cards, well then I'm out of luck and I got to chuck these away, and that's it. And then in this following round, you're going to draw 10 more cards, plus 1 for each territory that you control. Now, if you are that last person, you can keep up to 2 for the next round, and then you'll just draw up to whatever your maximum is, 10 plus however many areas you control. That's pretty much it. There's a few optional rules that are kind of fun to play around with. You can actually take back other regions that you've already controlled, things like that, sort of to make the game last longer. They're pretty fun to play around with, so that's it. Okay, that's pretty much it. There are a couple of sort of details about how certain cards may interact in certain situations if you're tied for certain things. The rule book does a good job of explaining those. But the game, I really enjoy it. It is a real in-your-face sort of backstabby game. Everybody's out to, it's just a real in-your-face game. There's a lot of luck with the cards, which is, a problem that I do have with it. It can be very decided by luck. Somebody could get like a key 3 times in a row and go 10 key, 8 key, whatever. So some games can go quick. They can go like 15 minutes or so, even with like 5 people. But it's still fun, because if you just take it on that surface of fun and in your face and tactics and blowing up other people's stuff and and knocking them down to they got 30 points and you play winter and now they have 3 points, let's say, things like that. But the cool, really nice part about it that sort of pushes it to being a good game, I think, is the fact that you can just pass. And so it's a sort of like playing chicken. So, let's say a 5-player game, we've all got 10 cards, and I'll pass, and then maybe somebody else will tentatively put a card in. And then somebody else will sort of beat them to, start to pull ahead of them, so they'll play some scarecrows to pull cards back in their hand for the next turn. So it is a cool, that each sort of round has some nice little moments of tension, and then they sort of kind of resolve themselves. You can kind of see how things are going to go. But yeah, it plays quick enough that the luck isn't huge, you know, because it is really swingy. I don't mind luck in games or randomness. I don't even mind randomness in long games. But really swingy randomness where it takes you out of the game, if it's going to be like that kind of randomness, then if it's short, then, you know, that's okay. But you usually feel like you're involved, you know, every turn. So, and there's some positioning you can do, and there is some depth to it a little bit in terms of, you know, the positioning of the Condottiere and things like that. And it's hard to explain, but you have to play the game probably a few times to get that. So yeah, it's still in print, and it's been around for a while, and they keep reprinting it, so it must be good, right? So yeah, take a look at it. It's a great sort of fillery, kind of in-your-face, kind of just fun game that you shouldn't really take that seriously. But it is fun, so thanks.